welcome back to Armchair Armory and welcome to the preview of Game 4 in the Premier League. It's starting to really hot up now, starting to get a little bit more interesting. We have our first of two games at home coming up where we play Fulham. Again, Premier League new boys back into the Premier League after a season out in the Championship. Also had a very, very good season, winning the Championship last season. Aleksandar Mitrovic obviously is a force to be reckoned with. I think he scored 40 goals last season, or close to 40 goals, something like that. And you know, their past two results have been pretty good, to be honest. Obviously, on the first day of the season, they got a draw. They got a 0-0 draw with Wolves away, and then they beat Brentford at home. So not too bad at the moment for them. You know, they look. The one thing I will say about them is they look very, very different to Fulham sides that I've seen in the past. Maybe in the past 6-7 years. There was a time when I first started getting into football in kind of like the late 90s, early 2000s. Fulham were one of those teams where you don't really want to go to Craven Cottage and you don't really want to play them because they can cause an upset. They did have decent players like that back then, like Louis Saha and stuff like that, and people like that. So it was never an easy place to go, necessarily. I think the last time we played them, which I believe was 2021 or 18-19 maybe. I'm just gonna have a look. I think it must have been 18-19. No, maybe not actually. I think it was 19-20. Let me just have a look. Oh no, it was 20. It was 2 seasons ago. They were in the Premier. It was when they were last in the season in the Premier League. So I remember the last time we played them at the Emirates, it was a 1-1 draw. There was a lot of controversy around this because I think I remember it was one of the last Armchair Armory reactions I did at the end of the season, and that's what came. And I think that the title I used was very leggy and very Eddie, because it was just after our Europa League. What was it? The Europa League quarter-final, I want to say. I think it was the quarter-final, yeah, because it was after Olympiacos, wasn't it? So it was just after we'd beat... Yeah, it was the quarter-final. So it was just after we'd beaten Slavia Prague 4-0 in Prague. We then had the home game on the Sunday against Fulham, and we just looked really lethargic in that game. And Fulham took the lead, and Nketiah equalised in the last minute, and there was a lot of like hubbub around should the players have been celebrating getting a last minute draw, should they have been going for the win and stuff like that. It was one of those games where, you know, that season wasn't great in itself. That was really kind of following on from Emery's last season in terms of league form anyway, because we won the FA Cup in 1920. Not 1920 the year, 2019, 2020. The league form was just abysmal in 2020, 2021. And it was just the way that, you know, the kind of limp dick way we went out of the Europa League and stuff like that. But that's the thing, like, they look like a completely different team this year. They look like they're a lot more clinical. Like, Mitrovic seems to be like an £80 million striker right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he carries on. How old is Mitrovic, come to think of it? Because I've heard his name a lot. He's played for Fulham for a long time, as far as I'm aware. Serbian. So he's played for Fulham since 2018, and he was playing for Newcastle before that, and he scored 86 goals and 151 appearances for Fulham. I mean, at the moment, he is probably one of the most prolific strikers in the league. Just going by kind of last season's stats of him scoring as many goals as he did. Yeah, he scored 44. He scored 43 goals last season. So, and already in like 3 games he scored 3 and 3. So, or he scored 3 goals in 3 appearances. So, you know, that's the guy that we have to watch out for. You know, some of their other players looked pretty good as well. I watched that game against Liverpool, the Fulham game against Liverpool. And I'm running around looking through the Premier League website just to remind myself of what actually happened in these games. So I think it was the Fulham game. So yeah, so I remember like Palhinha looking really good, and obviously Cordova Reed looking really good as well. So they've got decent players. They did enough to get a draw at home to possibly probably the second best team in England right now in Liverpool. Who, just to say, like, I've always enjoyed watching Liverpool even when they weren't at the heights that they are now, but I can't believe how bad they were against Manchester United on Monday. All credit to them, to be fair, to Manchester United. They played really, really well. It shocked me how well they played, but Liverpool were really bad, and that's like, 2 draws and a loss in the first 3 games of the season. I mean, it's not much to go on, because after 3 games, you're not going to know who's going to win the league. But you want to start well if you want to take on City. So yeah, it's not good. They've been plagued by injuries as well, which is always a problem. But yeah, so Fulham are going to be tough, but I suppose the positive is that it's at home. This is one of 2 now. We've got Fulham at home and then Villa at home. And again, Villa don't seem to be doing that well either at the moment. But obviously I'll talk about that when we actually play them. But yeah, Fulham, it's still going to be tough regardless, because I have a feeling that like Mitrovic is going to be in the right places at the right time, and Saliba and Gabriel need to be on him basically. And I think where Fulham will target is probably that right hand side. They'll probably target Ben White, even though Ben White's done well. That's obviously not his natural position. He can play right back, but he's not primarily a right back. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm wondering whether Arteta's going to bring back Tomiyasu or not, or whether he just wants to keep the momentum going and just stick with that starting 11. The other thing that I've been thinking about recently, that I think the kind of like euphoria of signing Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko and having Saliba come back has really like made me forget that there's a transfer window going on, and also because I've been looking at other clubs, particularly Man United, and kind of laughing at the way that they have spent the entire transfer window looking for one player and then decided to flummox everyone or try to dupe everyone and say, actually no, we wanted Casemiro all along. It's hilarious. But yeah, we actually haven't made any signings since Zinchenko, which is kind of worrying, because I still think we need a central midfielder, and I still think we need. It's not as if the rumours are true and we are going to send Pepe out on loan to Nice, then we do need another wide forward. If the plan is to keep Pepe, then we don't necessarily need a wide forward. I think that if anything, we would need a wide forward as a backup. We need someone to be there in case Martinelli, Smith Rowe, or Saka are not available to play. Essentially, we need to solve that problem. The Tielemans links are still there. People are still going on about Yuri Tielemans. I still don't think we're going to get him personally, just because I think Leicester are playing hardball at the moment and don't want to give him up and don't want to sell him. I heard today that like they're quoting 50 million, and it's like, he's got a year left on his contract. What are you doing? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I'm hoping. I mean, he'd be a good player to get in, but it's not a hill I want the club to die on, if that makes any sense. My only concern with Tielemans is that, like, Xhaka's playing very well at the moment. So what happens to Xhaka if Tielemans comes in? Is Tielemans content to sit on the bench for 6-7 games and only play in the Europa League and the Cup competitions? I don't know. But I haven't heard any other links out there in central midfield. I've heard a lot of wingers being mentioned, like Cody Gakpo and I think he's Ukrainian, from Donetsk, sorry. Yeah, like I've heard that guy being mentioned. Milenkovic Savic I've heard a few times from Lazio, I believe. Yeah, from Lazio. I've heard him being mentioned a few times. So yeah, it's an interesting situation with kind of, how long have we got left now? I think we've got 11 days, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, we've got 8 days left 8 days until the transfer window closes. So I have to see what Arsenal want to do. I mean, if we at least don't bring in a central midfielder, I will be a little bit disappointed, because I think we've done well in areas that we needed to fill, i.e. striker, competitive left back, a left back that can, or a player that's multifaceted like Zinchenko. We brought in a backup keeper of a better quality than Runarsson and more experience than Okonkwo, which is good. We've managed to convince Saliba to stay for at least a season, because there are rumours that he signed a contract already, but I don't know how true that is. So we are looking, and in the first 3 games we look really good, but I feel like if Xhaka or Partey gets injured, or if Partey gets in trouble for things, then we're going to be caught short again, because we're only going to have kind of Lokonga and El Neni. And Lokonga looks decent when he's come on, and Lokonga looked decent at points last season, but I don't think he's quite there yet. And El Neni only really has like 5 or 6 good games in him, and then he kind of falls off. So I think we need somebody else, and even if it isn't Tielemans, it needs to be somebody. With the wide forward situation, I just worry about Smith Rowe. Like, if Smith Rowe is meant to be, if the plan is for Smith Rowe to be the backup if Pepe goes, then his injury record that fills me with worry. I think we're not. It's not a good sign if that's the case, unless, which I've heard this might be the case, Arteta is trying to morph Nketiah into a wide forward, unless that's what is happening, because I know at some points last season when he came on, he played as a wide forward, or he's going to play Gabriel Jesus out on the wide and play Nketiah up front at certain points. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, in terms of prediction, I don't think it's going to be as much of an upset as this simulation has proved to be. I mean, I think this was probably like my worst performance playing against the AI. I don't know, maybe I was half asleep, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be that. I think we are probably going to come out of this with the 3 points. I think we will concede, because Mitrovic seems to always score, so I'm going to say 3-1 to Arsenal. I'm going to say it'll be interesting what I say when we get to the bigger clubs. But yeah, I'm going to say 3-1 Arsenal. So yeah, we'll have to just wait and see. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be back again, giving my reaction to the game on Saturday. So until then, take care and stay safe.
Superbly. Well, that's in the remit of any referee to stop play. It's what he's going to do, so the player can receive attention. And back in business again with a drop ball. Cabano. Oh, good play this. On the mark. And routine for the keeper in the end. The cross far too close to him. On the mark. Can he play it in? But defensive efficiency there. Free kick awarded then by the referee.
Substitution for Fulham.
And they will make the change now.
Number 6.
And he slots it home with confidence.
Well, here it is again. The keeper tries to read the penalty, but in the end he just makes no effort whatsoever. That's a strange decision.
Well, not too much defending going on in the grand scheme of things. 4-1. Gabriel Martinelli. He's given us away. 20 minutes remaining. Well, he's lost it. On the mark. Can he do it? That's great goalkeeping.
Well, what a save that is. He was so alert there.
So the corner played into the box. A decent effort, but the keeper read it all the way.
Well, Derek, this has been a really good performance, as you can see. They've created numerous chances, they're winning the game comfortably, and they could go on and score more. This could get really embarrassing.
And the cross into the middle. Safe pair of hands, did his job. Getting in there to intercept. Robinson. Is it going to be? Keeper getting the touch. And thumped away. Giving it a try. In it goes! Such a complete performance. 4 in front now.
Well, just look at this. He gives the goalkeeper no chance there. That's just gone in off the crossbar. That's a very good finish.
Well, if there were any lingering doubts about the outcome, surely they now have been removed. Lokonga. Martinelli. Arsenal get the advantage from the referee. It needs an accurate cross. Xhaka. Albert Sambi Lokonga. Making sure it didn't get past him. Well, it was a foul, but good use of advantage by the referee. But no discernible advantage, and quite rightly, free kick awarded. Well, sensible refereeing, you might say. Now he goes back and hands out the yellow card, Stuart.
Yeah, that's very good. He let the play continue and then came back for the earlier challenge.
Chalobah! And thwarting his opponent in the nick of time. Well, not the pass he had in mind. Cabano. And the cross smuggled away. So the final whistle now, and disappointment for Arsenal, you've got to say. A defeat for them. Your assessment?
Well, Derek, that just wasn't good enough today. A lack of a game plan, too many players below par, and not enough energy all around the pitch. A really worrying performance for me.
Well, he often cuts the figure of a thinking person's footballer. And Stuart, he's thought his way throughout this match.
Well, he looked a top-class player today. Every time he touched the ball, he was a threat. And he worked so hard for the team as well. What a good display that was.